Giants 27, Saints 21, and welcome to a victory episode of Talking Giants presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick, and we have a victory to talk about. We're going to talk about some negative things in this episode too, but man, I am jazzed up. One, a win is a win, and the first win of the year is always, one of the more fun ones, Justin. But a win in overtime, and Daniel Jones putting up 17 points in the final 3 drives of the game. When the game felt done, Daniel Jones put this team on his back. And we're going to talk about DJ a lot, obviously. And he won this game for the New York Giants. How are you?
We're winners. We are winners. Took a month. We're in October. But we are winners on a Victory Monday. Happy Victory Monday to you, Bobby Skinner. Happy Victory Monday to everybody that's listening. It's still Victory Sunday, and we're still celebrating. If you're in the Patreon chat hanging out with us, a lot of our Patreon members that are hanging out, this is their first victory. And Bobby, a theme from last year and, kind of after the season and after season reflection that I had was this is a team that's easy to root for because of its players. Logan Ryan's a guy that's easy to root for. Andrew Thomas is a guy that's easy to root for. Daniel Jones is a guy that's easy to root for. And what I really feel like this game is it was the personification of why we believe in a guy like Andrew Thomas, why we do believe in a guy like Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley started to come back to form a little bit. He hasn't always been an easy guy to root for. Kadarius Toney kind of came out of the woodwork and he showed us something. Kenny Golladay got big money. He showed us something. So all these guys that we want to root for because we want to start rooting for this football team and its players again. Not just for hope. We don't want to start rooting for hope. We want to root for the players because they can perform. And they showed us why they can do that today. There were some bad parts, and, this is still not a great football team overall. They have a lot of things to clean up, but it's a Victory Monday. They found a way to win. They got it done, and I just feel really great for the players that we root for because it's those guys that kind of got it done. They put the team on their back today.
Yeah, and we should enjoy it. They should enjoy it. There's things to clean up, and they'll work to do that. We're still 1-3, and it's not like, oh my gosh, we're back. Washington won this week. Did Dallas beat the Panthers?
I don't know. I've been knee deep in Giants stuff.
I know. But anyways, like I'm saying, it's like this isn't like where the Giants are back, better than ever. But it's fun. And here's something I'll say as a talking point that we have said. A lot of people said is this team just finds a way to lose. Well, guess what? They found a way to win today.
Yeah.
Like, they found a way to win when they were not supposed to win. They weren't even supposed to win this game in general. They were, a 7.5-point underdog. First game back in the Dome for New Orleans.
Yep.
And guess what? That rude awakening, you guys woke up Daniel Jones. But before, we're going to break it down. Here's our ask. I asked this on the first win of every single season. And we have not asked for it since, I think, the draft.
Yeah, that's accurate.
On iTunes, even if you're not listening on iTunes, if you listen on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, go on the Apple Podcast app and leave us a 5-star rating and review. Seriously, it really helps us. One, we're like 80 away from 1,000.
Yep.
Like second place for the Giants is like 650 or something. Like, we want to break 1,000, and I want to break it by a mile. And it's the easiest thing you could do to support us. Like there's lots of ways to support us. The easiest one is going on iTunes and rating us 5-star. And if you don't have an iPhone, send it to someone who who has a iPhone. And hey, maybe tell them to give them a listen. But leave us a 5-star review. It's the easiest thing. Just freaking do it, okay? Before I get pissed off. Anyways, so do that. I gotta say, stop whatever you're doing and leave a 5-star rating and review. All right, Justin. Now, after a win and after a loss, there's always overreactions, right? It's never as high as it's never as good as a win feels, and it's never as bad as a loss feels for the most part. But there's 3 people that I don't feel like I'm overreacting to because they put up a sample size.
Yep.
And that is Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, and Rob Sale.
Rob Sale.
Those 3 guys, I feel pumped up about, and I don't think it's overgassing them up and going too far. With Daniel Jones, it's a 4-game sample size into this season where he has balled out this season. And then Andrew Thomas and Rob Sale, we'll talk about them in a second. But let's start with Daniel Jones. 28 of 40 today. He's completed 70% of his passes. 402 yards. 10 yards per attempt. 2 touchdowns, and it was 2 touchdowns. And you know what? I'm saying 0 interceptions. That Hail Mary one doesn't count. And you look at, through 4 games this year, he's completing 2/3 of his passes at 66.6. 8.2 yards per attempt, 1,184 yards. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 188 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, he is balling. Like he is playing like the QB that was drafted to be that QB at 6 overall. This was the guy we kind of believed in, and it's happening from throwing the ball downfield. And even you look at the 20 plus, it's like we didn't even do it a ton today. It's like just Daniel Jones. Just every time the ball's thrown deep, it seems like Daniel Jones completes it. It's like and that's not like common. Like if you look at a QB and he completes 35% of his passes downfield, that's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's probably above average. And right now, and since last year, Daniel Jones is probably doing it like close to 50%. And he was the most efficient doing it last year.
He was 50% from today. He was 2 for 4, obviously with the 2 touchdowns being the 52-yard or the 54-yarder. So that's a total of 160 yards on 4 attempts, 2 completions, 2 touchdowns, another 50% completion day. And obviously Jones had the 2 touchdowns, big explosive plays, 1-play drives. Love it.
Yeah, and that 5 for 11, on those deep passes through this season. And, one of those incompletions was a drop to Darius Slayton. And honestly, that's why, deep concepts, they make defenses pay. Whereas, if you make a mistake like the defense did on that Saquon Barkley touchdown, you pay for it. You know what I'm saying? If a defense makes a mistake on a stick concept, they lose, they give up an 8-yard gain. But when you're running guys deep and they make a mistake, that leads to 54-yard touchdowns. Easy pitches and catches for Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley.
He was also 6 for 7 in the air yards between 10 and 19. 6 for 7 with 79 yards toward the left sideline, 27 and 17. So that's over, it's probably around 130 yards, and he was 6 for 7 throwing in between 10 and 19. So again, this is so crazy. Most of his incompletions are coming when he's throwing behind the sticks and in the intermediate part of the field. It's so crazy. It's wild.
Yeah, and it seems like with Garrett, they have found a groove and getting the ball downfield. And listen, this isn't, and I'll give, I'm not back on Garrett or anything, but I will give him credit. They have found something with these max protect, 7-8 man protections, play action from under center, and 2-man routes. They found something with that. Not a lot of teams are doing that, and it's old school, but it's working. So I'll give him credit for that. That they are finding holes in zones, and Daniel Jones is putting balls on guys accurately down the field. And then when they play the safeties up, you get a touchdown to John Ross. Can I get in John Ross? But Daniel Jones he is a good QB right now. Daniel Jones is good. We don't even need to beat around the bush anymore. Daniel Jones right now is just a good quarterback. He is playing like he was drafted to be. You had the Washington game, this game, and then even the 2 games where we lost versus Atlanta and Denver. It's did Daniel Jones play bad in those games? No. You know what I'm saying? And turnover wise, he's had 0 interceptions in his last 10 games. Sorry, there's 2. One was off Evan Ingram's hands versus Dallas, and then the Hail Mary today. So he essentially has 0 interceptions in his last 10 games. He has truly improved in every way since the first half of last season, where we were thinking man, we might be in the QB market next year.
Yeah, today Daniel Jones had a CPOE, completion percentage over expected, of 10.3 plus 10.3. I believe as of right now, that's one of the best in the NFL. It's not the best. And on 40 attempts, that's very, very impressive. His expected completion percentage was 59.7. His actual completion percentage was 70. And when you consider that he was throwing into a tight window, aggressiveness percentage is something that Next Gen Stats calculate. When you consider that he was throwing into tight windows at 22.5% of the time, it just makes it that even more impressive what he was able to do. Bobby, I agree. Just making things happen. Hey, remember last year? It was one of those things of, hey, the kid has to make it happen. Daniel Jones has to make things happen. How many plays have we seen this year where Daniel Jones has made something happen? That John Ross touchdown, he wasn't wide open. That was a great play by John Ross to come down with that football. And that was, I think, even a better throw by Daniel Jones to put it in a spot where only John Ross and John Ross, where only he can actually come down with the ball. So, again, credit to the kid, credit to the guy for what he's been able to do, because, again, he's rising above the circumstances that are around him, and that's what a quarterback should do. We should celebrate it. Good job. You're muted, Bobby.
Giants are 1-0 with and John Ross on their roster. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Well, and think about it, Sterling Shepard. We talked about he's hiding blemishes on this offense. Sterling Shepard and him and Jones's connection. No Shep today. I know Slayton's kind of in the doghouse with a lot of people, but it's losing him is kind of a bigger deal. And I think it forced Garrett and DJ to be all right, our offense right now is Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, and then Colin Johnson to CJ. But they ran a ton of two tight end stuff. That's our offense right now. You can't just force feed Tony a few carries, a few catches a game. Like he has to be a part of this offense. He has to be running routes. He has to be a part of progressions. And Kenny Galladay, I mean, Kenny Galladay 6 catches for 116 yards.
Yeah,
on 7 targets, by the way. Like, can you look up what Kenny Galladay's like catch rate for the season is? Like, I'm sure it's pretty good. You know, he was there. It was good week 1, week 3, and week 4. Like, he's catching the majority of his catches, and he's never been a high catch rate wide receiver.
Yeah, no. And something that I really loved from both Tony and Galladay is that both of them had over 8 yards after the catch per reception. Both of them.
Kenny Galladay, dude, like we don't win the game on that route in the fourth quarter where he catches it and breaks the tackle and adds 20 yards.
Malcolm Jenkins, I mean, dude, it's been 2 weeks in a row, Bobby, where he's had grown man plays. I know the one on the Falcons on the sideline, he just put his shoulder down, then he went out of bounds. But this was just a flat-out grown man play where Malcolm Jenkins is no scrub. You know, Malcolm Jenkins, Super Bowl champion, good safety, captain for the Saints, breaks that tackle, high steps, gets the yards after the catch. That, you know, the play before Saquon Barkley's game-winning touchdown was a beautiful throw and catch by Kenny Galladay to get open, and he got separation. Kadarius Toney, it was so great to see. This is just a dude that wills yards after the catch. Like, he willed it. You know, there's not a lot of opportunities. And can I say this? Can I say this? He does. I hate that I'm saying this right now. He does remind me of Odell with the ball in his hands. He does. Yeah. I got those vibes.
Yeah, that's tough.
Just the twitch. One game.
Yeah, I mean, he turned a 3rd and 18 into a first down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Huge.
Like, he turned a 3rd and 18 to a first down. And he probably wants a couple plays back. I mean, he had 6 catches for 78 yards.
Yeah, he had 2 drops in there.
He had 2 drops. You know, that one drop, you know, which was their last drive where they didn't score points. Like, that could have been a big play. I hate saying, like, oh, it would have went to the house because there was guys ahead of him. But, like, that could have been it would have at least been 15 yards or so, which is a big play for the Giants offense this year. So, like, those guys had to be relied on, and they showed up. And, you know, we said it on the pregame show, like, we're not reacting to one game sample sizes of people anymore. So am I reacting and been like, Garrett maybe has figured it out because we kind of did that versus Washington? No. But, like, gosh, this has to be such a wake-up call to, like, use these guys, man, and use them at what they do. Stop trying to, you know, fit square pegs in the round holes. Use these guys the way they're supposed to be used. And I'm not, like, you know, I would say it was what would you say about Jason Garrett overall in this game? I'll say good, but at the same time, I'm like, it was one of Daniel Jones' best games, and he scored 27 points with overtime.
Yeah, it was good. But again, I'm gonna refuse to change my evaluation on Jason Garrett until he puts it together on like a 3-game basis. I really am.
Don't give me a full evaluation. Give me a 1-game evaluation on him though.
I'm confused. That's really what I am, Bobby. I'm confused because why are we having this kind of game against New Orleans, which is, as of 3 weeks, they've been a top 5 pass defense. They're a really good run defense, too. They've been a top 5 defense overall. Washington, whose defense on paper is good. You know, why are we having these games against these, like, good defenses? And then against Atlanta, like, it was nothing, and we couldn't do anything. So I'm confused right now. But again, I'm celebrating Daniel Jones. I'm celebrating the players that really performed very well today.
Yeah, they had 10 points with 8 minutes, 7 minutes left with 7 minutes left in the game. They had 10 points.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's when they had to, like, all right, we got to really push the ball downfield and move and work quickly, and we can't run the ball like we want to. You know, we can't run on the first 3 first downs of the game, they ran the ball and gained -1 yards total. Yeah. You know, and that is first down is such a huge down in the NFL nowadays.
Thank you.
Being at 2nd and 10 and 2nd and 4 are worlds of difference, and it's why, you know, there's a lot of stuff around analytics right now, but I think a really simple one is, like, more times than not, throw the ball on first down. Now, if they give you a really favorable run front and you can run the ball on first down and you've been doing it well, that's one thing. But the Giants haven't done that this year at all. You know what I'm saying? It's been the exact opposite. It's been like their worst running down probably. So it's like at least they got away from that after the start of the game, but it was frustrating in the first 2 drives. It's like we're in 2nd and 10 every single drive.
Yeah, Giants have been one of the more pass heavy teams on first down in quarters 1 through 3, and I think just overall too, they've been one of the more pass heavy teams on first down. And then they started to do that thing where they did it against Denver, where it's just like, come on, don't waste a play. Don't just waste a first down here. And then they got back to it, doing a little bit more play action. And, that stuff, it really does open up Saquon Barkley. I don't know if the Giants' red zone attempt that they had that they had in overtime, right? The first play that they had in the red zone, I don't know if that running play is set up so well without throwing the ball down the field pretty much that entire drive. And, having the threat of Kenny Golladay and spreading it out, and they ran out of the shotgun there in the red zone, which is not something that you typically do. You typically want to go under center, you want to go power, you want to go heavy, but they spread it out. They got less guys in the box. Saquon was patient, got into the end zone, kind of went north and south, and he hit that hole. So that was brilliant. That was a great job.
Yeah, it was a good game from Saquon, but we'll finish off the DJ Slurp Fest with this. Got the ball down 11 with 7 minutes left in the game. He went 11 for 15, 165 yards, a touchdown on the following 3 drives for 17 points. If that's not, being clutch, I don't know what is. You know what I'm saying? This was not just the first 300-yard game for Daniel Jones. It was the first 400-yard game for Daniel Jones under Jason Garrett. So, listen, man, this whole idea of people, making excuses for the O-line, and we're going to talk about the O-line in a second, and they don't trust him. Well, you got no excuse not to trust this guy right now. This guy got better as the year went along last year, and he got a lot better this offseason. He put in the work in, and I think a big correlation has to do with Andrew Thomas' success. But, this guy has gotten better, and he's looking like a franchise QB right now. Now, there's 13 more games this year. Things can change. But right now, he looks like that guy. If you're judging him unbiasedly from the outside, and from the outside in world looking into this, the Giants, they've been Daniel Jones has actually been pretty good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Or maybe Giants fans are probably a little harder on Daniel Jones than the outside, critics. But it's man, it's kind of undeniable the way he's playing right now.
Before the Sunday Night Football game, Daniel Jones is third in the NFL in QB EPA. Expected points added. Hey, that's the metric. Hey, first of all, if you're mad at possibly, there was talk about that touchdown being taken off the board for Daniel Jones after the John Ross fumble, which it does count. He has 2 touchdown passes. But if you're upset, I hate how the box score says that there's an interception on Daniel Jones's record when it didn't matter and he just threw it towards the end zone because he was hoping for a touchdown at the end of the first half. Stats and metrics like EPA, do some reading up on it. It doesn't fault Daniel Jones for meaningless interceptions. So even though the box score does, that doesn't. So if you thought Daniel Jones had a really good game, well, EPA would agree with you that it's top 3 in the National Football League amongst quarterbacks so far before Sunday Night Football games.
How about that? So when that happened, in my mind, I was like, man, when I do the Daniel Jones deep ball throw at the end of the year, it's I'm counting this as a touchdown. I was like, I don't care. I'm ignoring it and I'm counting this as a touchdown, but it counts. So all is well.
Don't count it as the interception either.
Yeah, I won't. I would never count Hail Marys in there, anyways. Let's talk about the offensive line, and I guess that can breed into Saquon talk a little bit. 0 sacks. 0 sacks allowed. And when they handed the ball off, they had 14 carries, 58 yards, and a touchdown. That's a little bit over 4 yards per carry. That's, barely pushing over. And I want to give them credit on that 2-point conversion. They buried the D-line. It was supposed to be an RPO, and it didn't work out. They covered it well, and Daniel Jones probably should have handed the ball off, but they just moved the pile, and Daniel Jones runs in for an easy. That was a broken play. You know what I'm saying? And Daniel Jones just gets an easy run in because of the offensive line just moving dudes, moving earth. And it starts with Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas is a top left tackle right now. And I'm telling you, it has to do with Daniel Jones' success. There is correlation that since Andrew Thomas has gotten good, the Daniel Jones interception, number, the first good Andrew Thomas game was, the Bucks last year, which was that DJ interception game. But since then, the interceptions, I fully believe that is correlated with Andrew Thomas' success because Daniel Jones is able to maneuver when all that front side stuff is happening to him, and Thomas is just locking dudes down. I watch him throughout the game, and I'm like, man, he just handles. And what's beautiful is he looked good towards the end of last year, but you could tell he wasn't that confident still. You could tell in his hands and his feet, he wasn't that confident. He was working technique, but he just wasn't that confident. He looks like an extremely confident player. It is spewing through him, his confidence right now, and it's showing up as dominant. People need to apologize to Andrew Thomas. Seriously, no, I'm serious. The way that he was reacted to after 7 games, and you know what, Duke Manyweather, Brandon Thorne, you guys had no problem trashing this dude. Is it correlated to you guys training some of his classmates and not him? I don't know. But you know what? The apology should be as loud as the disrespect. And I know that's a really corny Twitter line I just put out. But you know what? Like, this guy got no time to grow without people trashing him. And now he looks like the best out of those 4. Like, and I watch every rep of those guys. Through the first 4 games this year, I haven't watched their other games this week. He has been the best out of those 4. Mekhi obviously has been hurt, but that goes into the evaluation with Mekhi. He's been hurt 4 different times now. Like, he has been the best out of those 4. And I don't really hear anyone talking about it. So, shout out to Andrew Thomas. And shout out to Rob Sale. Like, 0 sacks as a unit. Nate Solder seemed to play well. Like, he had some bad reps I saw, but, like, overall, like, Nate Solder, like, was holding his own on the right side. It's so hard to see the interior in the middle in game. But, like, Rob Sale has this group coached up, and we've seen all years. Like, the O-line looks decent as pass blockers.
Yeah. Daniel Jones held onto the ball for longer than 3 seconds, I believe, this game. And, just on Andrew Thomas, again, going back to my point to start off the show, it's just a dude you want to root for. He's a good dude. He's a hard worker, high leverage draft pick of this team.
Humble.
Puts his head down, and he works. A lot of guys could have talked about that ankle injury that he struggled with, blah, blah, blah. He didn't. Just a guy that you want to root for.
A lot of guys tweet about, their O-line play, especially some of his classmates. Andrew Thomas never does. So I'm if there's one player I'm probably the most proud of, it's Andrew, because he could have, especially after that preseason game, he's balled out since.
Yeah, and especially I think what Thomas is showing, we said this as a reason why to take Andrew Thomas and to take a left tackle in the 2020 draft. Left tackle is the second most valuable position in the game of football, right behind quarterback. No, it's not wide receiver. No, it's not cornerback. And no, it's not edge rusher. And I think you're seeing it. Andrew Thomas playing at a high level and having left tackle play that's not at a high level. I don't want to say that's the exact causation as to why the offense is performing well and Daniel Jones is performing well, but you're seeing the difference in Daniel Jones as a quarterback when he has everything in front of him or everything that he can't see when that's kind of taken care of. You're seeing the difference in who he is as a quarterback, because this is the first time in how many years and how many games has Daniel Jones been a pro? First time.
Or a collegiate athlete.
4 sets of games, and including collegiate athlete, you're seeing Daniel Jones with good protection from his blind side, and you're seeing the kind of quarterback that he can be.
Yeah, it's good. It's beautiful to see. So Rob Sale, there was a point I wanted to make. Oh, running the ball wise, I don't think they did a great job running the ball.
4 yards per carry, Saquon had. So
yeah, that's nothing special. But he made his impact in the receiving game this week.
Yeah, he faced an 8-man box 31% of the time too. So you have to take that into account where, largely this year the criticism has been Saquon's been inefficient because he hasn't faced an 8-man box. Well, he faced an 8-man box a decent amount today. And I have to give him credit on the touchdown run too. That touchdown run is, it's obviously the play that won us the game, but he could have easily run into the back of an offensive lineman, tripped over somebody, but he was patient. But then once he found the hole, he hit the hole. Because I'll tell you what, Bobby, there's a worry. There's a worry. We saw it when Kyle Rudolph caught a 20-yard pass and didn't run over a defender to get into the end zone, and then the Giants,
that was kind of weak.
The Giants wound up kicking a field goal because they can't punch it in the end zone. So you're thinking, oh, here we go. Kenny Golladay couldn't get the ball in the end zone, so the Giants are inside the 5-yard line. Here we go again. Giants are only going to come away with the field goal, but one play, no hesitation. Saquon Barkley gets in the end zone and he wins the game. So that was awesome. He's still not there. He's still not great. He's still not Saquon of 2018. But the fact that happened, that one play happened, plus what he did in the receiving game, huge play, by the way. If we're talking Saquon Barkley in the receiving game, huge play. Colin Johnson, this is on the game-winning drive. Colin Johnson gets this illegal formation penalty. And again, as a Giants fan, you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, we can't recover from this. Giants can't recover from penalties. Anything that kind of disrupts the schedule and disrupts the game script, it's over, right? Nope, next play, one of those screens, check down, Saquon Barkley takes it, first down right away. Obviously the fumble, Kyle Rudolph saves it, but I don't want to talk about that. That was a wacky play.
Good job by Will on that screenplay too. He had a really good block.
Yeah, so I'm very happy for Saquon. I'm happy, again, a guy that's easy to root for no matter how much controversy there is. I'm happy he had a good game. I'm happy he had 2 touchdowns. Happy he had the game-winning touchdown. Happy for him. Go and be better next week.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about what he's looked like, and it seems like a lot of it is like his mental, like confidence wise, and so, this can be a game that kind of pole vaults him in. That's the last thing I wanted to say about Thomas was that's why it frustrated me so much when people said he's just the most pro ready, doesn't have a high ceiling. I was like, get out of here! Look at the way he moved. Like I felt like he had the most room to improve. And it's something we talked about after the draft. Here's what I want to say where I'm pretty, kind of like, what the hell, Garrett? You mentioned that Kyle Rudolph catch. The next 3 plays, a handoff, which I was fine. Yeah. Handoff on first down. An Evan Ingram jet sweep, which is like, I know that's one of those plays where it's like, if it goes well, it's brilliant. And if it doesn't, it's moronic, but it seems moronic. And Evan Ingram had a drop today on third down, which was like, gosh, it's like, this is funny. This is almost funny to me now. And then the third play was like, I get Kyle Rudolph as a red zone threat, but it was like, here's my one critique of Daniel Jones. When you're at like the 3-yard line, throw the ball higher.
Yeah.
And softer. Like, he puts bullets on dudes down there, But it was like, there was no progression in that play. It was very much like, okay, we are going to Kyle Rudolph versus Marcus Lattimore on a mismatch of size, but it was like, it wasn't a mismatch of size route. It was kind of like that. It's like a little stick and nod type thing. So that was frustrating by Jason Garrett. All right, anything else you want to talk about on the offense? We talked about, the receivers, running backs, Daniel Jones, obviously, Jason Garrett, O-line.
Show it to me again next week. I mean, that's the challenge.
Yeah.
Enjoy the win. As fans, celebrate the win. But if you're in the building, and, if you're listening to this and you're in the building, the most important challenge is the next one. And you have a division opponent next week. They're looking pretty good. A defense that I feel like can be taken advantage of, but they've played well. Buckle up and get ready to do it again next week. I mean, I'm almost on to next week. Like, I celebrated. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm enjoying my Victory Sunday, but Victory Monday, I'm on to Dallas, and I want to see it again. Don't make this a wasted effort and a wasted win. An emotional win where you go on the road, you get that win, you find a way to win after 2 games in a row where you found ways to lose. Don't make it a wasted effort. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about our head coach after this ad break.
Cowboys won. What I was going to say is Jason Garrett always calls good plays against the Cowboys.
That is true.
We'll definitely win this week. All right, read the ad.
Fall is in the air, Bobby Skinner, and it's getting a little crisp.
I saw you guys at the high school game wearing hoodies. How about that?
Yeah, it was really cool. It's been really fun weather here in the East Coast. It's been really cool, crisp weather. Fall weather's really fun. But you know what's not fun? Your girl running out of the bedroom when she sees that man turf growing around your end zone. Football joke for balls. Keep that field trimmed with the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped, the leader in below-the-waist grooming. They just launched their Performance Package 4.0. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by going to Manscaped for 20% off plus free shipping with the code GIANTS. This will help tame, if you're playing fantasy football, this will help tame that Tyreek Hill cheetah you have in your pants. Lawnmower 4.0. It's a 4th-generation trimmer, and it also features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, all-new multi-function on-off switch that can engage in a travel lock and is even waterproof. So if you guess what? You know what I recommend? I recommend you going to Dallas next week because it's a big game. It's the biggest game of the season so far. Recommend you going to Dallas. Get the Lawnmower 4.0, get the Performance Package 4.0, get your Shed travel bag, bring it with you to Dallas, and enjoy a football game, enjoy a Giants win. Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 4000K LED spotlight, which allows you to be as accurate as Bill Belichick with the challenge flag. Ooh, you know who's not accurate with some of his challenge flags? Joe Judge and Sean Payton. Sean Payton had a pissed off, I'm going to throw this challenge flag for no reason today, and I thought that was kind of funny. Don't forget to use the Crop Preserver, ball deodorant, and their Crop Reviver, add to that travel bag, to help your little bench warmers on their A-game while feeling the sun's heat. So get 20% off plus free shipping with the code GIANTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code GIANTS at manscaped.com. We don't know who you're picking to be your flex this season in terms of fantasy football again. But we know you'll be flexing in your southern region with Manscaped. Your footballs will thank you.
Awesome ad read.
Thank you.
So we talked about a lot of positives with the offense, and now we talk about the defense. But before I want to talk about the defense, I think this was Joe Judge's worst head coach game in the NFL. I really do. And, he's not a coordinator, so it's like you're not looking at his offensive game plan or his defensive game plan. Obviously he has a say in both, but it's like, it seems like he is very stubborn. And I get that. Like, coaches should believe in what they are. But it seems like his fourth down decision making is not only what he thinks is right, but it almost seems like he's trying to stick it to everyone else who's telling him he's wrong. You know what I'm saying? That 3rd and 1 so they have a 3rd and 1 in that first quarter of the game, and they call Y leak, which is a play I love, and I love the idea of 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1 should be the most dangerous down in football, not because you can get the first down, because you can go on 4th down, but the defense has to play it like we got to stop them from getting a first down right here. Like, their goal is to stop you from getting a first down, so which means your goal should be to try and get a big play out of that. Like last week when they threw the ball to Colin Johnson on that 3rd and 3 where they punted after. I love that play call if you're going for it on the 4th down. And something I would like to know is, like, does Jason Garrett know on 3rd down if they're going for it on 4th? Like, that should, if they probably do, but if not, he definitely has to.
I don't know, because Jason Garrett commented this
he said
past
we always
week,
have a play ready. I know what you're about to say.
You have a play ready, but also he said that he does not make those 4th down decisions, that he said that he trusts Joe's judgment. But
what
I
I'm
don't
saying
know.
is, does Joe tell him on 3rd, like, hey, if you don't get it, we're going to go for it on 4th?
I don't know. I mean, I've never seen Joe Judge and Jason Garrett speak to each other. So
well, they have the headset.
No, I'm kidding. But,
okay.
But I know, I'm serious.
Which is true. I don't think I've ever seen them speak face to face.
Never seen them speak to each other.
Besides, like, Kenny Galladay, like, warm-ups before Atlanta. And even then, it was like Garrett seemed like the odd man out. So I love that play call. If you're going for it on 4th down. And they kick a field. It's like, come on, man. It's like, and that was in the beginning of the game. It's like, go for 6. Let's go for it on that 4th down. That was so frustrating. You know what I'm saying? And then Goodnow misses a kick, and it's like, well, we've kind of taken for granted that Goodnow can miss a kick. He made almost like 40 kicks in a row, before that one missed. And that's coming off of last week where you had the big 4th down decision, and then at the end of the half, not calling timeouts. Like, that could be a 3-point difference that Joe Judge lost because he didn't call timeouts when the Saints had the ball, down within the 20. Because they got within Hail Mary range and 2 plays. They got to the 50-yard line within 2 plays. 3 plays, because 1 play was a penalty, and they got those yards back on a nice Saquon run.
Yeah, that was brutal, not calling those timeouts.
And then, the one that might be the worst of all, and it kind of reminded me of what the Arizona game where I got so mad at Joe Judge last year, is down 11 on the New Orleans 47 with 9.5 minutes left, they punt. And I get it was 4th and 10, but it's like, or 4th and 9 or 4th and 8 or whatever it was, but it's like, dude, it felt like we were throwing like at that time I was like, we're only going to get the ball back one more time. Now, thank God when we did get it back, we scored on one play, that throw to Saquon Barkley, but it's like, that might be the only one play drive in, with Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
It's probably the only one that's been less than a minute.
And we had 2 of them. We had 2 one-play drives this game, and that saved us. It really did, because this Giants offense...
Was the John Ross drive a one-play drive?
It was 1 play, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I believe so. Somebody in Patreon, let me know if I'm correct. Yeah, because the problem with this Giants offense is, they can produce explosive... they'll produce an explosive play on a drive, but still... It just takes them so long to move the ball. And by the time they get into the red zone, they've called so many plays where it's like, well, are you running out of plays to stay on schedule and stay on script? Are you running out of plays for this script? So they run so many plays and it takes them so long. And that's why I was so pissed off. Right. And I was having a conversation with Snacks and some other people were like, oh, I'm happy Joe Judge didn't call the timeout. So then he didn't leave enough time for Jameis Winston on the clock to go back and score. I'm like, no, the Giants, when they get the ball back with 3 minutes left, they need every single second. The Giants need every single second. So I'm glad Joe Judge called a timeout.
Yeah, but he should have called 2 more. You know what I mean?
He should have, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's...
Or was that at the end of the game? I think I got confused with the end of the game.
He called 1 at the end of the game before the Saints punted.
Oh, no, yeah, there were people that were mad that Joe Judge called that timeout when the Giants got the ball back with 3 minutes and 1 second left in the fourth quarter.
Good.
So, that's good, because the Giants need, as you saw, the Giants need every single second on that clock available, because they just can't run even if they run up-tempo, they still can't have an up-tempo offense, because they just can't move the ball. Fast.
That one definitely was right because, you save 40 seconds. And so it's like, yeah, do timeouts help when you're moving the ball downfield and running your hurry-up offense? Yeah, but you're never going to use 40 seconds, so that one was smart.
Yeah, but the end of the first half hurt. That hurt because, again, you just wasted an opportunity that you could have had.
And the fourth down decisions, I mean, hold on, I need to look at, like, it seems defiant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it seems like a big, like, and I get it. Like, I don't want my head coach listening to media and fans. You know? Like, I don't. I want him to believe in his ways, but it's like, it almost seems like he's trying to stick it to everybody.
Yeah, and
with
Bobby,
his fourth down decisions.
I really feel like the Cleveland game, he took it from 0 to 100 last year, where it was like, all right, every fourth down he's going for it with your backup quarterback. I'm like, all right, I respect being ballsy, and I love going for it on fourth and short, but it was that was a little too much at times last year. But now there's just no in between. There's no middle way where he seems like a coach that goes off of feel for the game, but that's not it. And I think this week it showed it. Like this week, it's like, no, I think this is just a philosophical thing, and I think it's just that you just don't want to go for it. Like having a feel for the game is feeling that your offense is moving the ball well and they're possessing the ball and Daniel Jones's legs and you have Kadarius Toney with yards after the catch. That's having a feel for the game. And that's why you go for it from midfield or even in your opponent's territory. But to just punt and dismiss that you have all that going for you, I think it's philosophical at this point. It's stubbornness, like you said.
But even last year, he was conservative with fourth downs, right? It seems like he's all out against fourth downs at this year. He
was middle of the pack last year. He was middle of the pack.
Yeah, but there was times where it's like, wow, this was pretty a conservative decision.
Correct.
Like last year, it was a talking point. This year, it's kind of mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it's, and I maybe I'm getting too psychological, where it's like he doesn't want to seem like he's going for it because of the outside pressure. And that's, I'm a very stubborn person as well. So there's times where I may not do something because I don't want you to think that you being right made me do that.
Right.
But
we're fans, and he's an NFL coach that has gone on record saying adapt or die before. Right. So you have to adapt.
I know it's very frustrating. This is very disappointing, man. Like, credit to Daniel Jones for taking over this game and winning.
Yeah.
But the Giants should have lost this game.
Yeah. I at one point tweeted it out. I deleted it because I'm a coward. I deleted that the Giants don't deserve to win this game because there was a point in the game where there was 8 minutes left and they're punting and they're down by a couple scores. There was a point in this game where they didn't deserve to win. They really didn't, and that's why I started off this show celebrating the players that we really like, the players that we want to be really good. Some of the new additions, and Tony, Galladay, John Ross, celebrated those guys, Andrew Thomas, Daniel Jones, who we want to be cornerstones of this franchise. That's why we've been celebrating those guys to start off the show and not necessarily saying, hey, the Giants really outcoached the Saints today, because I certainly don't think that was the case.
They definitely didn't, All right, let's talk about the defense. So 21 points to the Saints isn't bad, Like, it's there, they scored more points versus the Patriots and versus the Packers. So not a horrible game for the defense. But, man, they are not right up front. And losing Blake seems to be a bigger deal. I mean, the Saints ran the ball 39 times for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. And including do those Taysom Hill touchdowns happen if Blake Martinez is out there? Like, I don't think so. And they are just, that's 4.4 yards per carry on the ground. And in the pass game, and I know Jameis didn't throw it a ton in this game. I think he threw maybe 20-something passes, 23 passes. Completed 17, I believe. They had 0 sacks. 0 sacks. And then as far as the run game, they only had 1 tackle for a loss.
0 QB hits too, according to the NFL game book.
That's insane, man. It is crazy how the pass rush has gotten worse. The pass rush is significantly worse than what we saw of the second half Giants last season. Significantly worse. And that was with them using Nico Lalos, Cam Brown, Carter Coughlin, and
Kyler Fackrell.
Well, even Kyler Fackrell was injured towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that was their group. And, I mean, I'm at the point where it's we got to call Nico Lalos up from the practice squad. Or pick Carter Coughlin back on the edge. They are not getting any pressure.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, even if Leonard Williams and Dex get up pressure up the middle, which they did a few times, it's like, well, the QB's easily able to get outside the pocket. Like, it is severely hurting this defense how bad they are rushing the passer. You know, and Graham was aggressive playing man coverage, and that's his frustrating thing is like, even when they blitz, they're not really getting there. But it's like Bradbury got beat deep today. Like, I want to know, like, air yards wise, like, was that the deepest that was the deepest Bradbury got. But it's like, I think it might have been the deepest he got beat by like 20, 30 yards as a New York Giant.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, and then you know what the player I'm the most disappointed with? Xavier McKinney. I don't think he's played well, but I think because he plays that deep safety role and you don't see him on TV a ton, we don't realize it. But like that play that got called for a touchdown and then there was a holding penalty, McKinney's, the beat reporters, it's hard to see from TV, and Fox didn't replay it and show what happened. They said that McKinney got beat on that, you know, and McKinney has been disappointing, like, and so, but you know, they're playing man coverage and they're playing aggressive, but it's like we have no pass rush, so it's like those two just don't work hand in hand unless you're running cover zero all out blitzes, which is like you can't consistently do that unless you're the Baltimore Ravens. So it's like it's hard to even diagnose there's so many different little things with the defense, and it wasn't a horrible game for the defense, but it's like I think it all stems back to the pass rush. The pass rush and James Bradbury not playing like a top 3 corner in the NFL.
Yeah. Jameis Winston held on to the ball for an average of 3 seconds per attempt today, and the fact that there was no QB hits. No, there was not a single hit on the quarterback today. That's very frustrating. Coverage did, I thought, a very good job besides the big plays that they allowed. Play of the game, you know, not counting the Barkley touchdown, the Barkley fumble where Rudolph picked it up, and play of the game was Leonard Williams forcing a hold on that touchdown. That was the play of the game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I thought Leonard had a better game.
Yeah, he did, but it's like there's no edge presence. So it's like even when Leonard Williams does well, it doesn't show up. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the issue with having a defensive tackle being your biggest pass rush.
Yeah, there was a pressure that he had on the quarterback that resulted on an incompletion, I believe on a second long, forced the third and long, or it might have even been on third down. The fourth down.
I know what you're talking about. It was the second 18.
Yeah, and it was a good pressure, forced an incompletion. The 4th and 3, where Kamara gets that pitch, Leonard Williams runs out there, makes the tackle on Kamara, excuse me. I got a YouTube comment on that. So he had a solid game, but
Alvin Kamara Harris.
I'm concerned with when the Giants play better skill position players. You know, corners can be good, but when the pass rush doesn't get home, I'm concerned when, you know, like week 1, like we saw against the Broncos, better skill position players I think are going to run those crossing routes, and it's just going to carve up this Giants defense and yards after catch. I thought they were a bad tackling unit today.
McKinney
many tackles,
too. That's another McKinney. He missed his tackles.
So many tackles where Kamara, whoever was getting the ball, they would just get the ball and then point of attack where defender and offensive player meet, and then yards after contact just all day. Like we would have guys for 2-yard gains, and then they would turn it into 5-6 yard gains. So these are just things that the defense has to clean up. And again, it does start up front. It starts up front. I thought the run defense was bad today. Thought it was very, very bad. You know, I'm all for letting a team kind of run on you a little bit because it's tough to sustain drives that way.
They had 170 rushing yards.
They had 170 rushing yards?
Yeah.
It's not good. And I think Dallas is kind of salivating at that next week, saying, you know, hey, we have the talented skill position players, plus we have the good offensive line with the 2 running back rotation back there. So I think Dallas is kind of salivating facing this Giants defense right now. Yeah, they did enough. 21 points. I'm never going to complain when a unit allows 21 points because your offense should be scoring more than 21 points in an NFL game. But still, allowing yards after the catch, tackling, getting to the ball are still problems that this Giants defense faces.
Yeah, you know, last year they were the 9th-ranked defense, and this year we came in like, okay, now let's get better. You added Adoree Jackson. There shouldn't be regression because you added an Adoree Jackson. And so there has been regression, so where it's like they're not like, you know, a horrible defense, but it's like they're not like a really good D. You know, they're kind of like an average defense right now in the NFL, and it's like, well, you guys kind of got to be better than average. You know, and like if you look at points per game last year, and that's what I always look at with defenses, because it's not about how many yards you gain. It's like, you know, you can bend, don't break. You could be a defense that gets turnovers, But it's like I will always look at points per game when it comes to defense or in offense too. And it's like, well, they were literally like 16th in the league last week. So I don't know where they're at exactly right now when the games end, but they'll probably be right around that same point. You know, like they're an average defense right now, and the issue is that we need this defense to be better than average. We need it to be good, and they're not good right now. They're just average, and I think the biggest stem of that is the pass rush. The pass rush is the pass rush is the worst it's been since Dave Gettleman got here.
Yeah.
You know, like Marcus Golden is a difference maker for this team right now. I know we've brought up like Marcus Golden on like 3 or 4 post game pods. That's how bad the pass rush. Pep, which I can't believe we say it this late in the game, but that coin toss was an iconic moment.
Oh man, that's why we won the game.
That was iconic. Like that had me amped up and ready to go. He hurt his hamstring though.
I'm gonna put the drop in right now. I'm putting it in right now.
Do it.
You're our visiting team. You have the choice. This is tails. This is heads. Heads is the call. And it is heads. We want that motherfucker. That's why we got to kick it. Kick it that way.
He had a hamstring injury, and he said that was before the touchdown he gave up. So I put up the stat like we've given up a touchdown to 4 backup tight ends in 4 games, which is a true stat. You know, Juwan Johnson or Juwan James, I forget his name.
Did you draft him in the fantasy draft?
Yeah, remember I literally said, I was like, a backup tight end scores it's going to be like a first-round pick next week as a backup tight end. That was Pepper's first touchdown given up. Like the other 3 backup tight end scores were not on Jabril Pepper. So safety coverage is another thing I think about in the NFL, where it's like everyone only watches their safety and they don't watch other safeties. It's like it's really hard to play man coverage on tight ends in the NFL today.
Yeah.
You know, so I know everyone is like just out on Peppers, but it's like, you know, he might be like getting the most pressures in the league. I think they should do if Peppers is healthy, you know, and again, he was injured in this game. He said he was injured before the touchdown. I think they should reduce McKinney's reps and get back to those 8-man boxes, safety down, Logan Ryan high. You got your corners on the outside, and let him play that money backer role more. I would reduce McKinney's snaps for more Peppers snaps. How about that?
Then you have Love and Ryan as like your deep safeties.
Love played nickel corner today, by the way.
Love played.
I'm saying get away from deep safety. Run more single high safety. Like, get away from this too high. It's not working for this defense. You know, and maybe even use less nickel and run more big. It's just so hard because the outside linebacker group sucks. Like, it really sucks right now. O'Shane Ximines is a 0. Lorenzo Carter doesn't do really anything. You know, if he makes a play, it's a surprise. And then it's like Azeez Ojulari is being expected to be like this top dog, and he's just not that right now. You know, and the 17 game sack rate is ended, which is sad.
Dead.
But get to next game, and we'll get right back on that train.
That's right.
All right. Anything else? Let's see. I said gotta get back to +1 boxes. Bradbury gets beat deep. Grant is playing man. Adoree got beat on that 3rd and long. You know, and they even bracketed him. Which is that? I mean, that was a great throw by Jameis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm just scared for a better offense next week. You know, I know Dallas has one of the best in the league, so obviously, you know, it's not, you know, totally panic mode if they have a bad game. But, you know, hey, Panthers had one of the best defenses in the league heading into today through 3 weeks, and they allowed 38 points today. So I'm scared for next week. I'm scared for next week what the Giants may do defensively. But you want to know what? Change your expectations on offense. Put some points on the board. That's what this league is. It's an NFL, and it's a scoring league. So
right now in the NFC East, the Giants are 4th in points scored and 1st in points and 1st in defense. How about that? All right. Anything else? We're at 50 minutes. I want to watch the Patriots-Bucks game.
Yeah.
Anything else? Leave a 5-star rating review. If you didn't, I hope bad things happen to you.
Whoa.
And
help us get to 1,000. That'll be really cool. Like I started my show in 2018,
We could get into the top 10 chart because we've been like top 60 right now, and that's with us losing. So if we win and get all those, you get the winning download numbers and the reviews, let's get Talking Giants into the top 10 for sports and football.
Yeah, that's all football shows in the country, by the way, that we're talking about. Yeah. I think we can do it. But I started a show in 2018. I started Bleeding Blue, and I'm like, wow, how cool would it be to get 100 ratings? That was like the main barometer of how I kind of evaluated the success of the show. Not download numbers, listens, of course, too, but the 5-star ratings. That's when people look at our show, what are they going to see? And if that 1K number can be there, that'll be really cool. So I appreciate all you for making that happen, because we're going to get there, and the Giants are going to win more games. So enjoy the feeling, celebrate, get ready for Dallas, follow what we do on all the YouTube channel and the podcast this week. Get pumped, get ready, because hopefully we're just getting started.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Let's start a win streak, and we'll resell our stacking win shirts. All right, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you on Wednesday for a mailbag episode. We'll put that tweet out on Tuesday at 11:30. Victory Monday. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Until then, let's go Big Blue.